Frank Hanna. We're at Lake of the Arbuckles, and we're fixing to go try to find some fish on the nest, hopefully. Might be a little rough since the lake came up 4 feet, so we'll see what we can find. Here's the brush pile right there's a piece of brush right there, and these are that little white dot, and that right there are fish. And there's a fish on that brush pile right there. The reason you know it's because it's on the back side of it in the shadows, and it lights up in the shadows, that'll be a fish. Not worth fishing for, but nice thing about this stuff under here, it goes all the way out to 150 feet, so just 100. But you lose so much, what is the word, definition of the fish and stuff. You lose so much of that. That's why I like about 80 to 100. Sure does change the game. And when you see a line like this right here, that's just a hard object on the bottom. And all that is, it's probably an old, the way it looks is an old log, or maybe just a row of rock, just like a rock you see on the bank over here. It could be one of those on the bottom. But let's see what happens up here. Oh, don't do that to me now. Still doing this old school. No power poles. Check out this frog. Look how real this thing looks. Oops, sorry, didn't let go of it. Little legs kick on everything. Looks just like a real frog. Does that not look real? Well, right now I'm just kind of going through here looking at the water. It's a little early. Some of the fog and clouds is still here. They're supposed to be gone by 10 o'clock, that's what they said anyway. And so I just kind of look around to see if there's any movement up shallow, if the water is clear enough to see fish. And if it is, we'll have a great day. They had a real bad burn here. All that used to be cedar trees. And they'll pull them out in the water. There's a bunch under the water right down through here. And on almost every point out here has got these cedar trees pulled out in the water and sank. I put rod socks on my rods, even in the rod locker, because the boat bounces, and without rod socks on it, you can break an eye, you can crack a rod, not even know it until the day you start fishing. Okay, where'd you go? No. I'm tying on a biffle bug. Just tying it on with Palomar knot with a 14-pound test line. It's a sun line. Bayou clippers. And don't throw your old line in the lake. What I do is I just put it back in my box up here. Normally I throw just a green pumpkin, but since the water's kind of dirty, we want to throw it's dark watermelon red is what this one's called. And I started putting this end upward. It seems like I get better hookups that way than doing it the old-fashioned way. Plus I like the red being on top so they can see a little better in the muddier water. I always wet this right here, the bends, so it doesn't tear the bait up so bad. Goes on easier, it doesn't tear it up. You see where it measures out right there? Just take it straight through. Lays right there on top, just skin hook it. Perfectly smooth. And here comes the fun part. I'm gonna have some crawdad juice on it. I want crawdad juice on the bottom. Always put it on their tongue when they pick it up from where their tongues are. If they can taste it, they'll hold on to it longer. Try not to get that on your carpet. Okay, I gotta be able to see. Look at that screen right there, that's where my bait just came up. I've got the sensitivity up high. You can see where it just shot up from the bottom when I reeled it in real fast. Even an old sonar will still do you a good job. Okay, those fish were there. They were probably fish in that pool. My buddy George Ingram, he passed away back in 2019. He had stomach cancer, and he would always, after he'd miss a fish, he'd go, "Did you see that?" And we go, "What?" He goes, "Did you see it?" I mean, serious as it could be. And he had this real deep, I'm talking hillbilly sound. And he goes, "Did you see that form I had on that hook set?" So we made this hat up for him, for remembrance of him. So man, did you see that form? I know I'm staying a long time in the spot. I've caught so many 4 and 5 pound smallies on this point. And 6 pounds with my grandson. Caught a 9 in that cove. I caught 2 9s in this cove. I'm in too deep of water. Where people make a lot of mistakes at when they're fishing, they're going like, "Man, that one spot, that's the only place you get a bite." Well, if they're in one spot of water, then you need to keep your bait in that spot of water all the time. So what do I mean by that? Parallel the bank. Put your boat where you're casting straight down that water line, the same depth you caught that fish at, and it's called keeping your bait in the strike zone, which increases your odds of catching the fish. If they're in 5 foot, you want to keep it in 5 foot. All these fish that I've been seeing and hooking between the 6 and 4 foot range. So now since I'm using a lighter line, lighter stuff, I got up here with them. There we go. They're tough little rascals. You see that little stripe on the end of his tail I was talking about? See it now in the water? Smallmouth, that's what I thought, isn't it? Yep. The green sinker did it again. Nice little smallmouth, about a pound. Maybe a pound 2. Good fish though, it's pretty. Boy, he didn't spend no time. He didn't spend no time at the top of the water, did he? Fish on the depth finder down here. A while ago, when I was in that corner over there, they was all right there at that 10-foot line. And I've got that turned up to like 80%, so it shows the fish real good. This makes me wonder if they didn't follow the boat out, because sometimes they'll follow your boat right back out because of the shade. We came down here to try to find some nesting fish today, and the lake had came up from the storms about 8 feet in the last week or so, and of course they're dropping like crazy. The water's stained everywhere. Caught a few small ones, caught a couple Kentuckys, a nice little smallmouth. Now we wasn't trying to catch tournament fish, we was just trying to teach you different ways to fish behind other people. Like 90% of this would have been fished with chatterbait, square bill, or spinnerbait, or even a buzzbait. But you can take a worm and swim it right behind them and catch fish that they're going to miss. So hopefully this here will help you with your next time out in a tournament or just out having a day fun fishing.